Hi, everyone. Welcome to Fireside Creators. I am Reverend Dr. Sherry Palace. Thank you for coming on today for our chat about the LGBTQIA community. I want to first say thank you to the supporters who support the show and keep me going every week. Your support means more than anything. When you join the VIP, you're able to come backstage with us after the show and talk with the panel. This week, we're doing something special where I'm keeping the VIP open because there are some stories that need to be told, that need to be public for everyone. So I wanted to make sure that everybody can see and hear those people. So we're going to do 2 hours tonight. The first is going to be the panel that I'm about to introduce. And then the second hour will be the panel as well as our 3 additional guests. One of the panel members is in the UK, so she might actually have to leave a little bit into the VIP, but no worries, she has to get her sleep. So welcome and thank you so much. If you'd like to join the VIP for future episodes, you can go to sherrypalace.com and become a member for as little as $3 a month. You can join the VIP and hop in the show backstage with us afterwards. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Okay, the show. I want to preface this with saying this is a safe place. This is a no hate zone. Over the course of the last 5 or 6 years, I have found that nothing inspires more hate or rage than telling people that they must love everyone. And that is included in tonight's show. I have the ability to boot someone. So if you get out of line, I will do so. I hope that I am saying this in vain. But we are here to hear people's stories and to talk about love and how we can be a more loving society. Please note that my term of gay or homosexual are just intended to be all-encompassing terms of all of the spectrums, including in the LGBTQIA collective. While I understand that there are differences, they are the most concise ways to describe a non-heterosexual. There are enough divisions surrounding the gay community. It is not my intention to create anything within it. I did a poll this week that said, what can I say instead of an LGBTQIA plus, because that's a tongue twister for me. And the general consensus was the rainbow community. So I am taking the liberty of saying that also in regards to it, just so I don't get the tongue twister and get all messed up. Tonight, we'll hopefully show you that judging and hating the LGBTQIA community is anti-Christ, anti-God, and not really what the Bible says. And for the allies, I want to make sure we're doing it right. I've ignorantly said some things before, having no idea that they were bigoted, but they were. Now I know better, and I do better. And tonight will teach us and remind us to stand with the rainbow community. Couple bullet points. Just to start it off, I want to give a top line and then we can discuss it from there. But to start it off, Leviticus was about pagan religions of Moloch and blatant misogyny, not homosexuality. Sodom and Gomorrah is about cruelty to migrants. I'm supposed to be doing all this stuff with these cool banners. I keep forgetting. Sodom and Gomorrah, as stated in Ezekiel 16:40 through 50, states why Sodom and Gomorrah was removed. And it says, now this was the sin of your sister Sodom. She and her sisters were arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned. They did not help the poor and the needy. They were haughty and did detestable things before me. Therefore, I did away with them, as you've seen. It was not about homosexuality. It was about cruelty to migrants. Additionally, David and Jonathan had a very loving relationship. In fact, Jonathan said that after talking with David had finished talking with Saul, Jonathan became one in the spirit with David, and he loved him as himself. From that day, Saul kept David with him and did not let him return home to his family. And Jonathan made a covenant with David because he loved him as himself. Jonathan took off the robe he was wearing and gave it to David, along with his tunic and even his sword, his bow, and his belt. When Jonathan died, David said, I grieve for you, Jonathan, my brother. You were very dear to me. Your love for me was wonderful, more wonderful than that of a woman. Jesus mentioned eunuchs. And spoke of them. He didn't mention anything about homosexual relationships, but he did speak of eunuchs and said, not everyone, I'm trying to be all technical, not everyone could accept his word, but only those to whom it has been given. For there are eunuchs who were born that way, and there are eunuchs who have been made eunuchs by others. They are those who choose to live like eunuchs for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. They are who we can accept and should accept it. The eunuchs of then are the trans people of today. It wasn't until 1946 that the word homosexual was even added to the Bible. The words used in the original scriptures were, I'm going to say this wrong, Malachi and arsenicotus, which most scholars believe meant effeminate. Jesus used the word malakoi, to describe a soft, delicate fabric. Most concluded this translates to a flamboyant, effeminate male. So it wasn't don't be gay, it was don't be like a woman. The word arsenicotis, it literally appears nowhere else other than the Bible, so Paul's meaning for it is truly up for debate. I would like to send you to gaychristians101.com because they have a great list of all of the things that people have, the different translations of effeminate before it was moved to homosexuality in the 1940s. There were gay saints in the 3rd and 4th centuries. I encourage you to look them up. There were 3 sets of same-sex saints: Perpetua and Felicity, Polyect and Nicaris, and Sergius and Bacchus. I am screwing all of these names up. And finally, homosexuality is completely natural. It is seen throughout the animal kingdom. Scientists have documented more than 1,500 species that have dominant homosexual communities within their species. It ranges from 3 to 20%. So if God created everything, and if we believe that homosexuality was a sin or an aberration in any way, then why does God have all of these animals that are also gay? It proves that nature loves society nature loves diversity and society hates it. So that's why we're having this call tonight. Thanks for letting me go through my diatribe. And I want to bring on our first guest. Our first guest is Pastor Chester Hitchcock. He's an ordained Seventh-day Adventist pastor who served nearly 30 years in pastoral ministry. He now devotes his time to a YouTube channel and acceptance for the LGBTQ community. Chester, welcome. Oh, where are you? There you are. Hi, can I hear you? Oh, we just lost Chester. Okay, on to the next one. Glories of a live show. We have Sara Cunningham. She is the founder of Free Mom Hugs. Her journey began when her son Parker came out as gay. She is a hero of mine, and I am so honored to have her. Welcome, Sara. Next, we have Chrissy. Chrissy Chavasu is a husband, father, and former missionary and pastor in the Vineyard Church planting movement. Being transgender and shamed as a child sent her into a life of repression, addiction, crime, and drug dealing. She found Jesus while begging and dying on the streets of Delhi, India. Welcome, Chrissy. Okay, everyone. How are you guys doing today? Oh, Chester still isn't back. We'll have to bring him on when he comes back. Sara.
Yes.
Let's start with you.
I'm here.
Tell me your story and how you got here and how you're changing the world with all of your wonderful things.
Well, in a nutshell, my name is Sara Cunningham. I was born and raised in Oklahoma City, married fairly young, have 2 children. Our youngest son, Parker, is part of the reason why we're here today. He tried to come out his whole life to me, and we raised our children in the church, and we absorbed this idea that homosexuality is wrong, a sin, unforgivable, and condemnable to hell. When my son turned 21, he said, "Mom, I met someone and I need you to be okay about it. I didn't take the news very well. I was frozen in my fear that my son was going to hell. And it was a journey that took us from the church to the Pride Parade. And I just met this beautiful spirit-filled community, and I heard their stories, and I began to get educated on things like the history of human sexuality. I'm so glad that you shared what you did before we came on here. It's so important. And on science and evidence, and ultimately hearing testimonies from gay Christians that convinced me that homosexuality is not a sin. I do believe that it is a gift from God, and that the LGBTQIA plus community adds a beautiful dynamic to the world, and it should be recognized as an important part of our history, our future, and to be celebrated. So I am the founder of a nonprofit, Free Mom Hugs, and our mission is to equip the world to celebrate the community through education, visibility, and conversation.
You're doing a wonderful job.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
And does Parker know he's changing the world?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. Chester, I brought you on for backup. I know you heard my intro and putting everything out there. I know that you speak on that on a regular basis. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. Chester?
Oh.
Oh, poor Chester. Yeah, I think he's frozen. Chrissy, definitely last but not least, talk to me. Okay. Thank you for coming on the show so much. And by the way, I'm going to put Beth on blast, because Beth Byer Abbott, who's in the comments right now, she's the one that found you for me. So she sent me the message saying, get her on your show. And so thank you so much for doing so.
Thank you for having me. And
I can't hear you.
Thank you, Sarah. You're just really shining a light. I'm very grateful to you.
I'm glad you're here too. Can you scoot a little bit closer to the computer and tell us your story?
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't know where to start. Goodness.
Speak up.
I met Jesus the first time begging on the streets in Delhi, India. I was an opium addict, and I had run out of money. I was starving, I was homeless, and I was begging. And I lay in the gutter one night, and I began to curse. And I began to curse God, like a good pagan does. And as I was cursing the name of Jesus, I didn't have a vision. There was no vision, but I saw Jesus as someone who was good, someone who was pure, someone who was innocent, and someone who had been crucified. And I realized in that moment that he was love, and I was pretty evil. I'd been a drug dealer, criminal, I'd been very violent, and that was my first encounter with Jesus, really. It was just in my heart. I just saw him as somebody beautiful and somebody good. And when I came round in the morning, or when it was daylight, I was lying in the gutter, and someone had, a rickshaw-walla had parked their rickshaw over me, and they pulled me out the gutter, told me to stay where I was, and they went and got me a bowl of rice and dal and an Indian cigarette, a bidi. And that was just such a simple, beautiful act of kindness that broke my heart wide open. And I think I would say that God spoke to me while I was sitting on the edge of that gutter and said, Chrissy, go home and love everybody that I put in your path, because you have never loved anybody before. You haven't even loved yourself.
I wish everybody could hear what you're saying. I'm getting messages because it is so beautiful. and I am absolutely loving it, but no one can hear you. In fact, I had to turn up my mic all the way up, so I'm probably giving some type of echo right now. So again, live show, roll with the punches. Sara, talk to me about your book and the movie and all of that.
Okay, well, and Chrissy, I'm so sorry I couldn't hear you. I want to, so I'll check in.
I know it's and it was so beautiful. I had it so loud.
Yeah. I was trying to read her lips.
Yeah.
But first of all, the book is titled How We Sleep at Night, A Mother's Memoir. And I wrote it inspired by the journey. I just wrote it for myself, not anticipating at all the response that it would have. And the last chapter in the book was inspired by standing with my son and my husband and my son and his friends at the Oklahoma City Pride Festival. And the Free Mom Hugs is not mentioned in the book, as it wasn't even on my radar. And but the book is about our journey from the church to the Pride Parade. It's self-published. And if you're not familiar with my story, throughout my journey, I started advocating for the community as I realized that my straight son has more rights than my gay son. I met and got involved with the transgender community. Though my son is not transgender, I have a real heart for the transgender community. And I began advocating, and soon couples would ask if I would officiate their weddings. And that's something that I had to examine as well. You know, what do I think about same-sex weddings? And I did come to the conclusion that I honor same-sex marriage as holy. I celebrate the spiritual gifts of the rainbow community. And so getting involved with couples, beautiful couples who are falling in love and getting engaged, and hearing stories from them, how their families were not acknowledging the relationship, refusing to come to the wedding. I made a social media post, a picture with my hand up in the air saying, if your biological mom won't come to your same-sex wedding, then you call me, I'll be there, I'll be your biggest fan. And that post went viral, and it caught the attention of Jamie Lee Curtis, and she found out about the book, and she acquired the rights to the book, and now there's a script that's been written, and there'll be a movie made for the Lifetime channel titled How We Sleep at Night, the Sara Cunningham story. And
that is so awesome.
Yeah. So
congratulations.
It's kind of a long, roundabout story, but you wouldn't even believe it if I hadn't told you. So I didn't even believe it myself some days.
Well, you're doing something right and something worthy, and you're making people feel whole. And that is pretty amazing in my book.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your accolades, but you, I really want to be transparent in facing that it wasn't overnight that just became suddenly accepting.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
Of course.
And,
it's been 10 years for me this month, and it's overnight.
Yeah. So, but I did not take the news well at all. I said some things and I acted in ways that I regret even today. And, but you know, fortunately my son and I have a relationship now. It's authentic, and I still have my son. But it's not always the case with families that start out like mine. So, it's been quite a journey, but I know that I'm not the only one. There's thousands and thousands of moms in a private Facebook group now that I'm plugged into, and so many of them have been alienated from their homes, from their families, from their places of worship, and from many parts of society due to the alienation and scriptures that have been misunderstood, misinterpreted, and misused, sometimes with the very best of intentions. And so that's why I love conversations like these, because I know the importance of having a conversation and sharing our stories, like Chrissy's and the Reverend here. So,
well, and it's literally a life and death thing at this point. My guest in the next hour, his son killed himself because the church told him he was unlovable. I have a book that I've actually dedicated to him because it encapsulates everything that is wrong, and all of the change that we need to do. Because when you're told that the way that you are born is wrong or bad, that creates a ton of hopelessness. And, hope is what keeps us alive. No one died, no one committed suicide with hope. It's when they become hopeless because of the rhetoric they are told, because they are used, what Chester says is clobber verses.
Yes.
And it's used, and it's really the division of the day. I mean, there's been divisions all over throughout time, but now it is the rainbow community, unfortunately. And being a 6 foot tall woman and with a deep voice, I have actually been mistaken for being trans. And I have, people have tried to fight me. I have been accosted. I have been groped to try and find an appendage. I, at one point, had an entire VIP section laughing at me and pointing at me until they finally got so bold that they came up to me and asked me how I did it. Through physical response as well as verbal. It was horrifying. But I treasure that now because I know that experience. Had I not felt that hate, had I not felt the mocking, it was just so sad. And, if I was a trans woman, I don't know what I would have done. I had this back of, I'm cis, you're just mistaken. I'm 6'3" in heels. So that's just the way it is. But that pain that I felt is what people feel every day because of the way that they were born. So it's become a huge cause of mine to make sure no one ever feels the way that I did. And I'm cis. I mean, it's really kind of, in fact, I say that I'm proof that sexuality is not a choice because I'm still only attracted to men after everything they've done. Yeah. It's all I can take.
So I'm so sorry that you endured that, but I'm so thankful that you survived that, because as we know, often the transgender community suffer at great lengths.
Yeah.
But I wish we could hear. Has the sound improved at all? With
Chrissy, talk to me.
Okay, can you hear me?
Any better? Oh, it's just crushing.
So frustrating.
Oh no.
It's so. I have to turn my sound all the way up to hear you. Do you have headphones?
No, not hands. No. Oh dear.
Well, while we're checking that, I want to show what some of the people are saying, and that we are out here for the support. And that's why we're here, because I think ignorance is what breeds these hostilities and fear. And I mean, a lot of the times when someone says, oh, you're damned to hell, it's because they're working with their own demons, right? A lot of times when people go and they protest and all of those things about the LGBT community, it turns out that they might be, and they're just hating themselves because of the doctrine they were told. So this doctrine of self-hate perpetuates, and then still, the whole thing is to love, and to not have that, to do that in Jesus's name just drives me crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that what I have learned, and we have to consider, because I've been on both sides of that. You see, I know the power of fear and ignorance, and I know the power of love and education. And anytime we meet someone who might be acting out of fear and ignorance, the things that I have to consider is their demographics. Where did they grow up? It's my generation that's making life pretty miserable for the rainbow community. And so you think about their demographics. What did they have access to for learning about things like the history of human sexuality or science or evidence? I wasn't taught those things in school. So we absorbed this idea from scripture that's been misused, misunderstood, misinterpreted. And I'm so glad that you mentioned the year 1946. Have you heard of Kathy Baldock? She is I would consider her an expert. Some of the best resources that I found so far for faith-based resources. She's working with a documentarian on a film called the 1946, the Bible and the Sacred Weapon. I'm sure I'm messing that title up, but it's documenting all of the reinterpretations of the scripture and how that came about and how it's been used against this beautiful spirit-filled community. And it's going to expose, it's going to educate, and that's what I love about technology. And I mean, there's so much information out now on no matter where you stand, historically, scientifically, scripturally, there's so much information out now that really the only choice is to remain in fear and ignorance.
And that is a choice, I think, at this point, especially with the internet.
Yes.
I mean, there was just a video that came out on TikTok this week, and I gasped. It was a woman, a mother, taking the door and saying, Jesus, take Satan away from my daughter because she's gay. And the daughter, when the mom finally goes away, smiles and then just breaks down in tears. And it's like, to have a parent do that to you, again, is hopeless. But Sarah, okay, I believe in the scales of truth. I learned this from the Egyptians. So if you really screw up in life, which I've done, if you make it better, the scales work out. And you are so making it better. You are giving so many people permission to accept their children, because if they only have the voice from the church saying they're doomed to hell, they don't have that. You are giving them permission to accept their children in a world full of hate. So that's why I opened the intro saying I've said some stupid stuff too. Never meant to be bigoted. I thought I was being funny. I thought, it was, and I look back now and I'm horrified. I'm absolutely horrified. But I know better, and I'm doing better, and so are you. It's the people that I want to reach that don't know any better at this point, who use condemnation, who use all of those things, because I would much rather be in a bathroom with Chrissy than I would the religious right at this point. And that's the big thing, in the U.S. is, because now we care about bathrooms so much.
Yeah.
Chrissy, talk to me. Can we hear you?
Okay. Is that any better? Is the microphone louder?
No. I can turn you up, but can anyone else hear?
No.
Oh, it's just heartbreaking. We'll sit there and look pretty.
Well, you're gonna have to have her back on the show. That's just
I know.
Do it.
I know. Maybe in the VIP. Well, and it's midnight where you are. But Chrissy has a book coming out too in June or July.
The settings.
I heard one word.
Settings, but okay.
Good old live shows.
No, I've done everything I can to change settings, and it's still not working.
Yeah, someone said, "Is your volume low?" I can hear you
like
through.
The volume is low.
Yeah, no, I turned the mics up full, so I don't know what's happening.
Christine, don't make it work. I'm talking to Christine in the chat because she's saying, "Okay, I'm so sad.
No.
This is horrible. I wanted to talk to you in Chester so badly, and this is the way it's gone. But you know what? It's the way it's going to go."
Yeah.
Talk to me.
At all?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit.
Okay.
Can you broadcast?
Hear me. No.
Someone says maybe the volume on the mic is low. No, but she said that it was all the way up.
Yeah.
I wonder if something might be covering her speaker, if she's got her phone on something, or
no. It's.
I love all the help in the chats. Everybody's joining and everybody wants to hear you.
Well, I think we'll have to reschedule, and I'll see if I can work on it.
I know. We will. I will do another show about this, and then we can figure it out from there.
Yeah.
I will send you one. If I have to. We'll send you a mic. So I saw that on your YouTube today, Sarah, that you have some new mom hug shirts. I know that I saw Jamie Lee Curtis in one that she was sporting. Are you giving those out at the prides this year, or are you mailing them out, or can people buy them?
Well, we have them. We just now have them available on our website, freemomhugs.org. We have merchandise there, and that's where we depend on those sales to run the nonprofit. So this is the original, Free Mom Hugs logo, and they've been very, very popular. And we're gearing up. The United States is opening up a little bit more, and yes, so Free Mom Hug shirts, anything that will send a message. And we have stickers on there that are most popular because people can put them on their backpack, on their bumper sticker, and it just sends a message. Even though we can't hug, but it sends a message loud and clear that you're a safe person, that you're an ally to the community. And so they've been very successful.
As a mom who's gone through this, what advice would you give to someone who is dealing with the church as well as the acceptance of their children and having to deal with some? Because I mean, I know that there's a lot of baggage that goes into it. I hope we get to the point where there is no coming out. I hope that it's, I love when my friends refer to their significant other as their partner, to make sure that that doesn't signify the rainbow community automatically, really generalize that. But I know that there's parents out there who are struggling with God and then struggling with their children and saying, I have to pick one or the other. First of all, that's not true. Yeah. But what can you offer them? I mean, because of your pain, you can change the world with this.
Well, I would say that, first of all, I would say to a parent who might be, say your child just comes out to you, and that you're not alone, that you have permission to search the matter out. And when you do, you get educated and you find out that, again, where you've been Kathy Baldock says that we've been duped with this misinformation. And, but that's what I'm doing, is that something that I just wish someone would have done when I was trying to figure it out. What I would have done to have had a mother like me then, or mother like me now, come and speak to a group with moms like me then, see? And what you mentioned about, changing the social norm in our language, using our pronouns, introducing, our partners as our partners, and just kind of changing the social norm will do volumes for the community. And, I often say that I pray for a day that we won't even need free mom hugs, that every household would be affirming. And, but until we hear a different message from the pulpit, unfortunately, it's going to be very difficult to make changes in the world around us. So that's where things as simple as a t-shirt or Free Mom Hugs bumper or just a rainbow sticker from a teacher, something that will send a message that that enough is enough with the ostracizing, with the alienation and separation, and to do everything in our power to keep families united, to keep families with authentic relationships. And because children, they're dying, they're at-risk behavior, they're doing poor in school, they're putting themselves in dangerous situations, or at suicide, or at-risk behavior because of shame. And shame, I believe, is the ultimate sin. It's when we shame our children. I shamed my son to getting rid of journals with the very best of intentions. I shamed him where he had to check himself at the door, and it was because of my own misunderstanding. And to just be able to celebrate my son. So if you have a child and they're coming out to you, I would say, number one, educate yourself. There's so much information out there now. Allow your child the space and the vocabulary to have conversations with you. Allow your child the space to show you who they are, and make your home safe. And if you can surround yourself with people who will support you on this journey and to celebrate your child. And if you can't find them, then if you don't have them around you, then you find them, because they're here.
Yeah.
And I have resources. I'll send it to you so you'll have it available to those who are listening. I belong to a private online Facebook group for moms with LGBTQ plus children, and it's a wellspring of support and resources. And there you can unload your anxiety, your burden, your questions, all your fears, because your child doesn't need to carry that burden. And as you get educated, as you find peace with the answers, even if you have them to yourselves, you can speak at the water cooler, you can speak at your place of worship, you can stand up and be an advocate for your child. I mean, even now we have the Equality Act that has yet to be passed, where my child, my gay son, could be denied health care, housing, even refused service in a public space because of who he is. And to think that we're in 2021 and still having to debate the value of my son or who he might love, this is where the good and educated people need to stand up and say enough is enough. If you're in a place of worship, then I want you to push the envelope so much that they're either asking you to preach it from the pulpit or asking you to leave. That is
Exactly.
what the call to action is. The Free Mom Hugs movement is only successful because moms are standing up for the rights of their children and trying to make their world safe, their neighborhood safe, their city and states safe for their children. Do you know currently the parents of transgender children are making a list of where it's safe for them to live and raise their children, because the transgender community are facing such adversity in their schools, in the public place, like you said, with the bathroom. I mean, it just is horrendous what the transgender community is facing today. And it makes me tremble when I think about how the mothers might feel, or for my friends and family. Like Chrissy, I'm concerned, and I need to stand up and stand with her, and be able to speak for her, or at least make a space for her where she can share her story when she gets her volume fixed.
I have a feeling.
Can you
Talk
hear
to me,
now?
Chrissy.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, it's like, oh, no.
Incredible.
It's got to be your computer's sound.
No. Okay, it's not working. No.
Oh.
Okay.
One of the organizations that you inspired me, Sarah, to join was
Yes.
PFLAG.
Excellent.
So I actually joined the local chapter and presented myself as a reverend to dispel any of these myths. So when
Excellent.
parents were bringing in their children and they were freaking out over all of these things, when your religion tells you that it's a sin or it's an abomination, you have to believe it's a choice. And until that they realize that it's not a choice, there is going to be judgment. Until they realize that everyone is born as a child of God, and they are who they are, then there's going to be judgment. There's going to be condemnation, because you can't say that God made them and it's a choice. So it's easy to say it's a choice, and then that way they can disregard and judge and condemn people to hell.
Yeah, I
If
couldn't
people
agree.
actually accepted that these are the way people were born, just like people of color, just like being a woman, all of these other things. And this is one of the things I say at every show so far, is that it just amazes me that religious people hate so much of God's creation. It's, they just go and they take these things and say, no, this is wrong. And the education needs to be there that it's not.
That's the power of fear and ignorance.
Yeah.
But to that, I didn't hate gay people when I didn't understand, but I didn't really, it was my fear and ignorance that kept me in that frozen state. And that's where I thought it was a choice. And that's where we need to provide the resources, the faith-based resources. I didn't even know where to look for resources. I didn't know any other parents with gay children. I thought I was the only one. And just like being left-handed, that's right, Facebook user. And
It actually mentions being left-handed more times in the Bible as a condemnation than homosexuality, by the way, as well as shrimp. Shrimp and bacon are 4 times more listed in the Bible as an abomination than homosexuality. So when people realize that, it destroys the sword that they are using to slice their brothers and sisters.
Well, I don't even equate homosexuality like I used to. I used to try to reason with it this way, like, well, there's gluttony, there's, lying, there's abuse,
No,
all those things. But I can't even go there now because it's not there at all for me. It's a gift from God.
exactly.
To be celebrated. So to equate it to even to gluttony or all those things, no.
One of the things that drives me crazy the most is love the sinner but hate the sin. And that's like saying, I love you, but I hate your voice.
It's the worst thing you could say. Don't ever
It really is. It really is, because it's saying I love you, but not really. I'm judging you. And it's not. It's, the reason I bring up shellfish or being left-handed is because it just demonstrates how many atrocities that people have had across the millennium. If you were born left-handed, that was an abomination. A person of color was meant to be a slave. I mean, religion has justified atrocities across time. And I'm here for that. I'm here to stop it with all of my might. Chrissy, I hear you messing around back there. Talk to me.
Can you hear me?
Shit.
Shit, right.
I've gotten to cursing at this point.
No, it's definitely something with the volume.
Yeah.
No, neither.
Well, you know what? This just says that we need to have another show sooner than later.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna bow out then.
Okay, go get some sleep.
And wish you. It's so good.
Well, Chrissy has to have her own show next time.
Yeah, exactly. I will definitely reach out to you. Thank you so much. And what you did say was beautiful. People who watch the replay will see the closed caption, so they'll actually be able to hear you.
See you again.
Bye.
Oh.
I felt bad anyway because she was literally staying up. It's now 1:45 in the morning for her. So she posted, I'm doing the adult thing by staying up on a school night.
Oh my goodness. I do wish we could have heard from her. I was looking forward to that.
Oh, she was saying such beautiful things too. And I wanted to relay it, but I could. It's, technology.
And we lost the other gentleman too.
Yeah, Chester came on. It was just supposed to be you and I, Sarah. Where you just, it's a chick chat is what it is.
Oh.
So what are you working, or is Free Mom Hugs your total day job now?
Let's see. In January, February of pre-COVID, we had Jamie Lee Curtis made a donation to Free Mom Hugs so I could quit my job.
Nice.
And work full-time at Free Mom Hugs. You see, prior to that, I had been working for an architectural firm, and then Free Mom Hugs, exploded. I mean, it was like the cat was out of the bag when we went viral. And so, it wasn't fair to my employer. It wasn't fair to the nonprofit. So I was able to go full-time with Free Mom Hugs, and it has been just the best thing in my life. I look forward to getting up every morning. I do exactly what I feel like I was created to do.
That's awesome.
I can see the fruit in it. And even though I might be the face of Free Mom Hugs now, I know that I won't be the last. And there are chapters. We have chapters in every state, and they're just representing and a beautiful expression of the mission of Free Mom Hugs. We're getting educated by the Human Rights Campaign on how to speak to issues that affect our children and families like ours. We're organizing pride rides, national pride rides, to just really empower the world to celebrate this beautiful community. And I couldn't be more prouder with the work that has been done by the dedicated national board, volunteers all over the country that share the same heart, the same vision, the same mission. I could die and go to heaven today, and I know that it would just continue because it's that good, and it's not by nothing that I've done. I just did things I wish someone would have done, and I'm accountable to what I know now. And
Well, you're doing it right, and that's why the path is being laid before you. In fact, I don't know who this is, but I completely agree. Where it says, "Wow, sounds like mom hugs has the blessing of God." The path has been laid before you, and again, you didn't want this, you didn't choose this, but you are the person. And you are doing it and making those changes. But I got to ask on a side note, does Parker ever be like, "Mom, you're embarrassing me," like sons do?
If
Mom, stop.
he doesn't express it too much, except for, we have 39th Street is the gay district where we live. And when we go there to a local bar, sometimes I do get a little more attention than he does. Yeah, that's a little embarrassing for me.
Yeah, that's funny. And the last time I went to a gay bar, a trans woman came up to me and tried to steal my boots. She's like, "Girl, I want those boots." I'm like, "You can't have my boots. You can't have my boots."
Yeah, we've got a great community here. I love it.
It's the community, and that's it, right? It's the community is so loving. I to discover that there was infighting within the community really upset me, because I see everybody as doing their struggling in and of themselves and really trying to find themselves. And I think that's what our life goal is to find acceptance for who we are and the path that we are on. To have an organization like religion. That was Chester affirming that. Excuse me. He's commenting on the other side. But everybody needs our support. No one can do it alone. And because the rainbow community is the one, and by the way, I just love the rainbow community because it just makes me smile, right? They need us, and they need our support just as much as the people of color did in the 60s. I mean, and this is all coming back to us right now in the US, especially. And we're having to fight all these fights again. We have to fight the rights. We have to do all these things. Hopefully with the new president in, those LGBTQIA rights will be restored, but that shouldn't be a fight. Rights as a human should not be a fight. And we need to recognize everybody individually for who they are. The Indians say that trans people, the Native American Indians, say that trans people and gay people are the mixture of two souls. And those two souls bring the added strength. And I got to tell you, I mean, no one would choose to have the societal curse in being gay. And that because because it's not okay. It's not okay to be who you are in our society. So for anyone to say that it's a choice, no one would choose that heartache at this point. If our society was all accepting, then maybe there would be some validity to that. But the fact that it's not proves that no one can choose this.
That's what I could never reconcile. It's like, why would anybody choose to be, alienated and judged and shamed and treated less than, or treated like they were broken? Why would anybody choose that? And
they wouldn't
never reconcile that.
Yeah, they wouldn't. And that's why people, come out of the closet and go into the closet, and it's the most fearful thing ever. I've seen the day that Don't Ask, Don't Tell was overturned. There was a soldier in Iraq who did a Skype call with his parents, and he came out to his parents that day. And his mother was wailing, screaming, "You're going to hell," crying. And his voice shook, and he just said, "Please accept me." And the father was more accepting than the mother, but the mother went ballistic, and because of her religious beliefs. And you could see how the tension and the pain in his voice, just having to say those things, just having to say, "Mom, this is who I am," which is why this has to be removed. It should be, I catch myself with kids, "Oh, who's your girlfriend? Who's your boyfriend?" That needs to stop. We started that with children. We automatically assume that this is the way they are. And because of that, that will create trauma if we don't do that, because we're setting expectations for children.
Yeah, it is amazing once you're aware of something like even like gender like for birthday parties, I buy a gender neutral gift unless I know, especially how they would identify, but it's gender neutral all the way. And I really pay attention to my pronouns because it matters. Like you said early on, it's a matter of life and death.
Yeah.
Yes, Facebook user. I do hear that. Like so many people, and what we're hearing now is the generation like our age is that they're coming out late in life and they married. They thought they were doing, like your Facebook user says, the normal thing by marrying young, by having children, and families are just blown apart as these beautiful, gay people just cannot live another day with this lie. So, and of course, they're just coming out late in life and just risking and losing everything. And I mean, we're not even talking about the transgender community. They risk so much by coming out, especially late in life. I went to what I thought was a PFLAG meeting for high schoolers and families like mine. It turned out to be for the transgender community. And up until that day, I'd never been in the same room with a transgender person that I knew of. And I stayed because I knew the facilitator there. And I listened to their stories. And I mean, I sat out my car and I just cried hot tears because I thought these are beautiful, misunderstood people and they're precious. And until I heard their stories, I couldn't see them. And since then, we have had our 7th transgender Valentine's banquet, and it's always around Valentine's Day because it's the day of love. It's always free to the community. And what we do is we just honor the transgender community and those who love and support them. And we celebrate. We have a dinner. We have, sometimes there'll be a keynote speaker, dancing, just anything to just celebrate and make it a really good memory for the community. And it's one of the things that I'm most proud of out of the Free Mom Hugs movement. We've done a lot of great things, but that's one thing that I'm very happy with.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. I touched on a couple minutes ago that, I think our life goal is to be authentic and to find our purpose. Mm-hmm. And to see someone stand in their authenticity in the spite of all of society's aggressions, in spite of everyone's judgment, that is true strength. And that strength may actually scare some people because a trans person coming out and going out in public, that's owning it. That's owning your life. That's owning who you are. And I think that most of us, or all of us, I would want to say that we would want that acceptance of ourselves. Whether it be a woman who feels that she's overweight, whether it be someone who doesn't like something else, we all need to accept ourselves. And the fact that the trans people are able to do so, the fact that the LGBTQIA community can come out and say, you know what, this is who I am, accept me for what it is or don't, I can only salute that. I can only use that as aspiration to say, I hope that I am secure in myself at some point enough to say, you know what, this is who I am. Actually, I played that song today before this show from the, this is me. I'm dancing around. This is me. Everyone needs to do that. And the fact that we prevent others from doing it needs to stop. Needs to absolutely stop now because it is a life and death situation. Yeah. Tony's on. We are all born authentic and parent society. Tony is going to be our guest in the next show, which we are at the top of the hour. Only the two of us, Sarah. Oh, it was a great show, even though, we lost a couple of our people. Yes. Do we have any questions that are out there before? I didn't say the whole ask thing. But do we have any questions that we want to say before we go into our VIP session and our next call? I got some so true. Oh, see, this just breaks my heart.
Yeah.
And you are normal. I don't know who you are, but you are normal. You're very normal, and that's what you need to hear.
Yeah, you're beautiful, and know that we're celebrating you and we're cheering you on.
And again, I don't know who this is, but hey, we rock.
That's the goal.
That is the goal. Because we're going into another hour, I'm going to go ahead and cut it here, and then we can hop into the VIP. But I want to thank you so much, and everybody else. We are just stay where you're at, and then a new link will pop up for the new show. Sarah, I'm going to send you backstage, and I will see you on the other side.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I love doing these. I love it. I love it. I love it. I hope that everybody got at least one piece of information that will help you love more, hate less, fear less, love more, have more compassion, know that everybody is created exactly the way that they're supposed to. This is my last show for 2 weeks. Well, we're going to do the VIP in a second, but I'm taking 2 weeks off. The next show that we have is June 5th. It's going to be on a Saturday, and it is Religion's Effects on Relationships with Clint Heacock and Lisa Heacock. So you'll see the invites and you'll see the post for that. It's going to be on a Saturday at 2:00. And then the following Tuesday, we will go ahead and start the schedules again, starting with Islam. We have a cleric coming on, and it's going to be really awesome. So like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and then stay tuned. We will be in the other one, in the VIP that you're all going to get to hear tonight. Normally, it's people come on and tell their stories, but these stories have to be told in a public way. I want you all to hear them, so I'm keeping it open for you guys. And hey, you'll get to see what the VIP experience is actually like. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I will talk to you soon. Let me get all this stuff together so I look really cool when I end. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you on the other side. Mwah!